Hello, Mark Crossfield here. We're going to hit today my 3 favourite players drivers. So we're going to show you 3 of the drivers I've tested throughout the year 2014. I'm going to show you my 3 favourites. I've got GC2 on the floor, my Pro V1 X balls. I'm going to show you some numbers from the 3 collected today, so them directly compared to against each other on the same day, just to show you why I make the choice of these 3 drivers and why I think there may be some ones that you should be testing if you're looking for a good players driver. Let's get stuck in. Right guys, we're in the players category. So what I mean by that is these are drivers generally looked at by maybe better players. Now you've got to take this with a pinch of salt because, so for instance, the first one we got, number 3 in my top 3 here, is the Cobra BioCell Plus. Now there are tour players not using the Plus, using normal BioCell, and they funk it up in other ways. So these are just 3 of the drivers I've tested that give me the best numbers and certainly some of the best performance out of all the drivers I've hit. And maybe ones you should be going out and trying if you want what is known as a better players driver. Now that doesn't mean better players need to hit them. You can be any standard of player, but you might need some certain requirements in head shapes and what have you that these might not fall into. So look, BioCell Plus, number 3 from Cobra, featuring SmartPad. Not a great fan of SmartPad, not sure what it's really doing and can't see it really working. We've got MyFly Neck. Love MyFly Neck, gives you lots of options to change the face, clothes and what have you, and it also changes the loft in many different settings. Loving that. Funky colorway. I've got the blue and white here, which definitely out of the 3 drivers we're looking at today is going to be my favorite looking one. I love the look of this club with the white shaft I've got going into this as well. Looks fantastic with the black face. We get kind of different crowns so they can move the weight around into the right place to optimize it for ball flight. There isn't going to be a driver that doesn't say it does that in some way. We get the E9 face on Cobra, which they've been talking about for a while. We get hotter face across different parts of it, more across the whole face and la-di-da-di-da, those kind of things. Look, I'm going to hit some balls with our range balls just to talk you through what I feel as I hit it, and we will present you the data of the 3 drivers at the end to show you why I choose the one I choose or why I've chosen my top 3. So let's give this Cobra BioCell Plus a hit. This is the smaller headed one, so the BioCell comes out with a bigger head shape, which is what I mean by good player, bad player, or good player, recreation golfer, or whatever you want to call it. The slightly bigger head for lots of players might be a little bit more what they like the look of, or gives them a little bit more help. I mean, Ricky Fowler I think uses the BioPlus standard, not the BioPlus Plus driver. You know, it's not, when I say players club, take that loosely. Now look, let's give this a hit. BioCell Plus, this is my number 3. Let's give it a whack. Love the look at this club down by the ball, gives a lovely flight. Numbers I produce on it are good. We're going to show you the real numbers in a second once I've hit all 3 of them. Like, if it was all down to looks, this one would be in my bag. If it was all down to looks and they all performed exactly the same with numbers and specs, this one would be in my bag. It does look fantastic. Comes in a few different color options as well, which is fun. Might not appeal to everyone, but it certainly is fun. I could so take this club on the course. Love the way it sits down by the ball, sits nice and square, and it feels very, very solid. So number 3 for me, BioCell Plus. Go out and test this one, guys. Like I said, I'm going to show you the numbers. Always impressed with the numbers this club produces. And I'm more impressed with, and this is kind of a strange way of getting impressed, it's just not that much hype around this driver, but every time I try it and getting people to hit it, it produces such good numbers. I'm surprised there is not more hype around the BioCell Plus driver from Cobra. Let's check out my number 2 and my number 1. Right guys, number 2 for me, Ping I-25. We're getting changeable neck half a degree, so very subtle in its changes. We get the racing stripes on top from Ping. Nice big head on this one. It's not a small head, it's a nice large friendly looking head, which lots of people will like. The racing stripes down by the ball frame it up fantastic for alignment, allows me to feel what kind of way I want to swing the club as well. I love what racing stripes do. Now I've tried this driver and played it, and I loved it. I'm always been back and forth a little bit with this club. No problem with this club being in my bag. Let's give it a hit. When I put it down by the ball, definitely fantastic for confidence, inspiring, nice big head, and with those racing stripes, which I do absolutely love. Let's give it a hit. It's a nice feel off the face. It's slightly louder tinging than the others. It is a bit more of a bigger sound, which isn't a problem. Makes you feel like you've hit it quite far, regardless of what the numbers show. It's a nice kind of satisfying sound. What I like about this one, and I like about Ping as a whole of the company, where the other ones, certainly Cobra and maybe other companies, have a lot of bells and whistles, Ping don't seem to make all that noise, do they? They just get on with making quite honest, well performing, as good a performing clubs as they can make, and kind of get on with it, don't they? And I like that about them. Let's give this another hit. It does feel nice. I love the control I get off this club. I do feel like out of the three I've chosen, this one is arguably the easiest to hit. So this one, where I'm saying this is players, again, I want you to take that as loosely as possible. This is, anyone could really use this club, to be honest. It's a very friendly looking head down by the ball. As the Ping i25, I like the changeability of it, but it's very subtle. Almost feels a little bit for Ping that they've done that just because they feel like they almost have to, rather than it's doing anything massively. You've got tungsten weights at the back, which allow for MOI high on this. This is a very friendly club, while still performing as a players club. You'll see this club on tour, as well as seeing this club in handicap golfers bags. Ping i25, my number 2. Right guys, I'm sure you've guessed it, number 1, TaylorMade SLDR Loft Up campaign. I'm gaming it, I'm loving it. It comes in all kinds of flavors and colors now, doesn't it? I've lost track, to be honest. TaylorMade do bring them out fast. I've still got the original one here. We're getting sliding bars on the bottom here to affect the way the closure rate happens with the sliding blue weight. We get low forward CG, which requires you to have the loft up because it takes the spin off. If you take the spin off and you don't launch the ball high enough, you won't make the distance. So the whole loft up campaign has been confused. Lofting up the other 2 clubs isn't going to work because their spin model is not as low as this one, which we'll show you in a second on the launch monitor, because like I said, I've hit all 3. SLDR, let's give it a hit. I've got the grey top to the silver finish. Like I say, it comes in many flavors now. Let's give it a hit. It's a slightly different sound off the face. I'd say quite a solid sound, not so kind of tingy maybe as the other ones. It sits nice and neutral down by the ball. You get the changeable neck on this club as well, which allows you to move the loft around and the lie to change if it goes left and right in theory. I've just got it all set up at neutral, but this one's a 10.5. I've settled down out of my loft. Give it one more hit. I mean, what I love about SLDR is they kind of redefine the spin model for lots of people, certainly me. And they've definitely redesigned my concept of looking down at loft, which is an interesting point. One thing I really like about SLDR, which lots of people are not really talking about, is I like the low spin, and I'll show you the numbers. I like the consistent distance it gives me. But I do like the fact that I've got used to seeing more loft, and it makes me feel like I can hit the ball high. It makes me feel like if I wanted to hit a lower one, I could hit low, a really low spinning one into the wind. I feel like I could do it. I just feel like I've got a few degrees of loft to play with this one, where with the other 2 and other drivers where I've traditionally been lower in loft, I always feel like I have to really try and launch them. And with this one, getting the loft up and keeping that spin down, I don't feel like I have to launch. I feel like I can do lots of different things with it, which is what I love. SLDR for me, I mean, I'm not being the biggest TaylorMade fan, and still, you know, I know they bring in clubs out fast and what have you. This club has redefined it for me. We're going to show you some numbers and show you, just back up why I feel this club is the best one for me still out of all the other ones, and also show you a little bit about how close it actually is. But SLDR for me, my number 1. Right guys, let's show you the numbers from my top 3 drivers. So number 3, Cobra. Let's just go with distance to start us off. 263 total carry. I25, so my number 2 from Ping, 270. Hit that one a little bit further. And then if we go to SLDR, 271 carry. So you can see between the 3 of those, there's not much in that at all. I got up to 266, my furthest shot with the Cobra compared to the other 2. So on this test, and anyone who watches lots of my other videos, you'll see that the Cobra's come out really close to SLDR in other tests. Has gone the least distance out of these 3, but that's today's testings, today's strike. I hit quite a few shots, just try and get equivalence. This is as close as I could get. And it's quite an interesting point, really. Lots of people always, you know, the number police out there on YouTube, they love it, don't they? It's, I mean, these are much further. I was hitting it long on this day. for whatever reason. It's not the club, it's not the ball, it's me. I'm performing today better than I have on other days. I feel stronger maybe, I feel like I can swing it a bit faster for whatever reason, eating differently, feel different, many different factors, which is why I always try to compare them at the same time rather than using, you know, old data from different days. Now if you look at the spin, this is where I go for SLDR. So the average spin on the SLDR is slightly lower than the ping. Ping performing fantastic, around 2.1 revs, really good numbers. And then you got the Cobra at 2.3, again, really, really low numbers. Now my furthest hit carrying 2.77, so you can see that, I mean, that's a long hit for me. I don't normally get them out that far. With the SLDR there at the top, I get the 1.7 spin. Now when I get it launching 15.9 near 16 degrees, launching it at 1.7 spin, I get my max distance. Now it doesn't matter which club I do or I play with, that's where I get my maximum distance. So I've done it with every club I've almost tested, through to my old Covert as well. If I hit that number, I often get that longest drive, that kind of that 10-yard further one than I get any other time. Now what happens with SLDR for me with that low forward CG is I get that number, even on this free, I didn't get it every time, I get that number more consistently than any of the other clubs. If you look at the ping, the 2.76, look what happens, 16 launch and the spin came down to 1.8. If the ping consistently delivered me those numbers, I think I could happily use it. But what happens with SLDR, which I've seen with all my testing, and it's only slight, but it is there and it's enough for me to keep that club in the bag and for me to pick it as my number one, is it does often consistently keep that spin number down in the 1.7. And the other thing I feel I can do, if I want to force that number down there, so I feel confident that I want to manipulate that spin number, I can do that with SLDR better than I can any other driver. Now look guys, this is the players range. I can hit the ball quite well with my driver. I'm not saying these are the best drivers for you. You need to go out there and test them with your own numbers. I've tested this with lots of other players, from pros through to amateurs, and it's not the same results as me. I get some players hitting I-25 better than SLDR and Cobra better, and so on and so forth. These are my top three. Out of all the ones I've hit, they perform consistently well every time I put them into the test. They always throw out some good numbers. Cobra number 3, I-25 ping number 2, and then the SLDR from TaylorMade number 1 in my opinion. Post comments down below, love to hear. I always love these videos, get some great comments, really passionate ones. Can't wait to hear guys, and we'll speak to you soon. So if you like what's going on here, don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Also thumbs up the video, post comments, love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show, get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.